Hey folks, thanks for joining me. In this video, I want to talk about some hidden costs you may need to know about if you plan on moving to Lisbon, Portugal. But honestly, if you plan on moving abroad, period, some of these things may occur. And these are things that I experienced and still experiencing. And so I just wanted to let people know kind of like how to prepare, how to maybe budget or things to consider. So hopefully this will be helpful. So if those of you who never met me before, I moved to Portugal last year, and I did not use an immigration attorney. I did not use any service. So I kind of winged it and made a whole bunch of mistakes myself. So if your situation is different from mine, or if you need an immigration attorney, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to recommend one. But during my travels, if I find one, I'll let you guys know. But there's a bunch of costs that can pop up, and if you're not ready for it, it can hit you over the head a little bit. So I threw some slides together just so I will know what the hell I'm talking about. But so if there's any typos on it, don't come for me in the comments. Just know that I threw these together real quick just so I wouldn't get distracted, because squirrel, anything distracts me and I don't know what's happening. Okay, so the visa documents and the cost for the documents and the cost if you do it wrong. Okay, so I did the residency visa. When I first moved to Portugal, I did not have a residency visa. I moved on a tourist visa. When you move on a tourist visa to any country, it's a thing, okay? Because there's a limit as to how long you can be in the country legally. And so a variety of things can happen, like COVID happened. So that changed a lot of things for a lot of people. So you kind of have to consider that. So let's talk for a minute. We know that the visa is going to cost what? I think $98 US if you're doing it in US. I did it in the US. I did not do it in Portugal. So the things and the documents you have to get to set that up, that needs to be equated into the cost. So I did my FBI paperwork incorrectly twice. Was it twice? Definitely, yeah, twice. I had to do it twice. I didn't do it wrong twice. I had to do it twice. So me having to do that process again, paying the U.S. Postal Service, and that's small things, but I want you to understand how this stuff adds up, okay? So I want you to consider kind of like a buffer. Understand the documents that you may have to show, and then I don't want to say multiply by 2 because that's probably an extreme case, but it depends. Okay, so let's also, hey y'all, thanks for showing up. Okay, so showing the plane tickets and the rentals. This is really important. Again, when I first came, I came on a tourist visa. I didn't have to show anything. I have a US passport. I'm a US citizen. I didn't have to show much. Now, in the residency side, there's a series of things you have to show and pay for to say that you're going to live there. Okay. And showing a plane ticket is one. So many of you have asked, what do you do about the plane ticket? You have a plane ticket. Like, I don't know no other way to kind of tell you that. So if you're initially, and I know that can be frightening because sometimes visas don't get approved. So to purchase a plane ticket and you might not be able to go is a blower, right? So you got to consider that. Luckily, my visa went through. So I was just able to go ahead and take the plane ticket that I got. And I did that plane ticket for a year. So to show that you are leaving in a year. Now, here's the important thing to know. There are two sides to this residency visa thing. There's a side, particularly if you filed in the US, there is a side to get you the visa. And then there's a whole series of things you have to do when you get into the country, which is the place where I am right now. So I will continue to take you on this journey to let you know what that process is. But that process is a series of money too. So that's why it's important. I woke up thinking about this, that somebody needed to hear this. Okay. So if you were putting money toward the first part, you have to be prepared for the amount of money that you're going to have to do once you get into Portugal or any country you're moving abroad. Okay. So I needed people to know that part. So that's the plane ticket and rentals and that type of thing. And I'm gonna get deeper into that. Which one is this one? Plane tickets. To leave it in a year. Oh, and to leave if you get deported. Okay, so let me Let's talk about that real quick. Deportation is a thing, folks. This is not your country. You can get deported. And if you don't have the money in case some things go awry, listen, you're going to be in a bad way. So I'm just saying, granted, I didn't do that, but luckily, thank God so far, haven't got deported. I'm good. But that could very well happen. And so far, like I'm taught, because when you move abroad, you end up having like all these other expat friends, and it's like a real thing. Like it's happened to at least 5 people I know. And I just want people to kind of consider that, because these are the things people don't necessarily talk about when they talk about moving abroad. This, like, it is all leprechauns, roses, and sunshine. Leprechauns, what? But you know what I mean? Like, everyone speaks like it's great. And don't get it twisted. This is a great experience. It's one of the best decisions I've made. I just want you to be prepared for some things, okay? So understand, have some money aside in case you need to get a plane ticket back. And this is not just if you get deported, but also like COVID. Like, you know, I wrote, well, the reason I was already, my COVID story is a little bit different, but just be prepared, because anything can happen and you don't want to be in a situation where you don't have that. So if you don't have the cash, maybe set aside a credit card specifically for emergencies in cases like that. You may not ever have to use it, folks. I just want you to be prepared. Okay. All right, let's move to my next point. Fees for overstaying your visa. So fun fact, I have a couple of friends. So depending on where your visa is, what country you come from, there's a limitation on how long you can be in that country. And if something happens, usually when you are trying to cross borders to another border, you may have some issues. So for example, when I came here, I was on a tourist visa. So I was only allowed to be here for 90 days solid in a 180-day period. That is cumulative. I didn't learn that fun fact till I got here. I thought my tourist visa reset every time I came back into, did I think it was in the EU or Portugal? I'm not sure. Either way, I was wrong, right? So I could only be in the area for 90 days. And then I had to, but again, I was going back and forth to the States when I first moved because I had clients in the US, and now that's not the case. I'm full-fledged here. So look, gotta get these papers right? So if in fact you overstay your visa for whatever reason, we all are in a pandemic, and sometimes that happens. And in this pandemic, Portugal has been really understanding. A lot of countries have been really understanding that people can't necessarily go to certain places. Offices weren't open. They weren't moving in the rate that they used to. So they were kind of understanding. But the deadline that was given to people at the beginning of COVID is now kind of coming toward that deadline. So things have to, I don't know if they're going to extend it or what, but you kind of have to expect that and prepare and have some type of savings just in case you overstay your visa. Now, what the cost is in case you overstay your visa depends. So everything has a border. If you're trying to do that visa run, that if you live out the country, you know what the visa run is. If you're in the EU and the Schengen network, you have to leave out of, and that's usually Croatia or Romania. And you may have to post up there if you're not trying to come back to the States. You may have to post up there for a couple of days until the time progresses. So if that is the case, those separate countries are still going to look at the stamps in your visa and see where you've been and what's been going on. And you just want to prepare for that. If in fact, for whatever reason, you may have overstayed your visa. Okay. So that's another cost that you can anticipate. Rental deposits. Listen, let's talk about these rental deposits, because when I first came to Portugal, people were saying they wanted 6 months up front. They wanted all this foolishness up front. And granted, I came to Portugal last year before COVID. Since COVID here in Portugal, things have changed dramatically. Hey guys, I'm just going to do the presentation. I appreciate y'all coming on. I'll come in your questions in a second. Since COVID, things have changed a little bit, and I've since got an apartment. I'm in the apartment that I finally got, and I'll talk about that probably later on in another video. But the rental deposits can be ridiculous. Okay, so you kind of need to prepare for that. So if whatever your price range is for the apartment that you want, just multiply it by 6 months probably 8 months just to be safe. Okay. So, and I say that because if you're doing your residency visa, and I think I have a slide on this because this is the part I did not know. Well, I didn't know it because, right. Let me see. Do I have it on the slide before I get in that? No. Okay. So let me just talk to you about that right now. So when you are doing your visa, you have to show 6 months. Did you have six months of place to stay for 6 months, right? When you're doing your residency visa. Now, I used a series of like hotels and Airbnbs, and I understand the fear of that because I was scared. Like if they don't accept it, you want to be able to cancel so that you won't be out of pocket. Now, what I have learned is some people come to Portugal, do like a look-see, find an apartment while they're here, and just rent that for the year so that when they do their paperwork, they already have proof that they have 6 months to live, if not a year. I did not do that. I didn't even think to do that, but I've just been hearing people's story while I've been here. Now that could be costly if you out here in these streets trying to live in city center and paying thousands of euros a month. Now, if your pockets are like that, by all means do it, but you can move further outside of city center and get a lower rent and go ahead, come to Portugal, go ahead, get your lease situation together. Now, I'm not sure how people were doing that because as far as I know, you need a NIF. Well, it really depends on the landlord. You need a NIF, and actually that may be it. And you can get that in a day when you could before COVID. So, but that's what some people are doing. I hope that makes sense. This is live, y'all. So my brain go crazy and I don't be knowing what I'm talking about sometimes. But some people come here, just get an apartment that is relatively, low cost. Because if you think about all the money you end up spending, it might be cheaper for you to just go ahead and get a really, a small apartment outside of city center. That might be a good option for some people. My Uber driver last night told me his apartment was $350. I don't remember where he said he lived, but I was like, well, somebody didn't tell me something because that is nowhere near the prices I've been seeing. Okay. And again, when you decide to move to Portugal, you have to decide what type of amenities that you want and what's important to you. No one else can give you that information but you. So although somebody might be paying a lower rent, you may want certain amenities that rent may not give you, and you may want to be in certain neighborhoods and that type of thing. So there's two options. The option I did not take. Some people will go just rent an apartment when they come and visit, and then they'll go back to the States and apply for their visa. Now that I know that that's an option, I'm like, oh, that's pretty dope. I didn't think of that at all. And if you can afford to do it, it could be helpful, especially when you have to come to part 2 of what we're going to talk about. So now that I'm here, I had to hurry up and find an apartment because my SEF meeting is next month. And they want to see you have a year lease. See how this money thing changes? Because if you had to do the initial visa and you had to show 6 months, and now you have your SEF meeting, you have to show a year, then you can end up losing some money between those time frames of the 6 months to that year lease. Okay. So for me, I had a whole bunch of people tell me to do Airbnb. So I had kind of anticipated that cost, but I spent a lot of money on Airbnbs, but it helped me figure out where I wanted to live, what neighborhood, what amenities I wanted, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? So I knew before I left that was going to be something that I did. So when I came back from the States after applying for my residency, I stayed in Airbnbs for I guess a month. Have I been here a month? I don't remember. Since I got here for a couple reasons. Airbnb, I wanted to move into something where I didn't have to worry about utilities. When you're in an Airbnb and you rent it for a month, you don't have to deal with any of that. So that is why I went to various Airbnbs. Some of the Airbnbs, one of my friends was in town from Spain, so we just got a larger one because it was more than just me. So we had an Airbnb before, and COVID happened. And so they credited us. So that's why I kind of switched around. If you follow me on Instagram and you saw that my Airbnb was kind of switching around because I had a credit at one, we had to use that up. And then my friend came, so we got a bigger spot. But right now I'm currently in the apartment that I am renting for the next year. And this apartment is a 1-bedroom. I'll show it to you another time, not now because we got a lot to go through. This apartment is 750 euros. I just signed the lease. I don't even think I've been here a month. A month, that's not the word. A week. I haven't been here a week yet. And this is in, hold on, Caixas. I'm about 25 minutes with no traffic outside of city center. Okay, so I'm still in Lisbon, the province of Lisbon, but just, further out. I am be completely transparent with you. I'm a little nervous about that because many of you who know my story know that I went to Cascais when I first moved here. And it was, in my opinion, it was incredibly lonely and isolating because I was by myself. I didn't have family and I need a city vibe. I'm from a city. So that's just my energy. So I felt like really depressed and lonely in Cascais. And here, not yet, but I haven't been here long enough. I'm hoping that I won't feel the same energy, but I get to see the water right out of my apartment. So that helps me get peace and all that other stuff. But I'll update you on that. Again, rental deposits. Let me just check in with you guys really quickly. Okay, limited tourist visa, 90 days. I've traveled to Portugal before, but without any visa beforehand. You can travel, you just can't stay, hun. Hey there, Sandra. What are some of the reasons people got? So some of the reasons people got deported, and I'll go back into this. So that's a really good question. It varies. So if you have a job in any country and your job doesn't fill the necessary paperwork out that they're supposed to keep you in said country, if you like go run on vacation or go do a couple things real quick and try to come back in the country, you won't be allowed back in. And it's not that my friend Anna, I'm gonna try and bring her on for an interview. Whew, she got nerves of steel because that happened to her in Thailand. So her sponsor, her corporate sponsor, was supposed to fill stuff out. And it's really difficult, guys, when you don't speak the language. So if you get a form or whatever and you give it to your job and you hope that they'll take care of it, and they just didn't. So she went through some massive deportation issues, and hopefully I'll get her on so she can tell her own story. But that was one of the reasons. And more often than not, I mean, of course, I guess if you do something illegal or you out. But more importantly, the times I've heard it, it's usually been somebody's job kind of dropped the ball and didn't file the paperwork. And they end up doing it in some cases, but it takes days and you're in a deportation center for days. So that's the real thing. Hey there, Tracy. Thanks for coming out. Are you able to travel, move to Lisbon right now from the US? If you do the residency visa. I left the US, I don't think has it been a month? I left the US, I applied for the residency visa because that's the only people that they were letting in. Unless you were like already in Europe and you just don't have to go through the customs because the EU is all kind of together, but I had to file for the residency visa in order to come back to Portugal. So that's a good question. Let me go through the rest of this. So rental deposits, we talked about that. I hope I made that make sense. Utility deposits. Depending on if you have to set up your own utilities, you will have to pay those deposits. Now, in my case, I did not. Because my landlord is actually covering the utilities, and then he will invoice me and then I pay him for the utilities. So for me, that's helpful because I just don't want to deal with figuring that out. So luckily he's doing that. In regards to how I find this apartment, again, guys, I'll do a separate video on the apartment specifically, but just want to give you a heads up. This was on Airbnb. I found this apartment on Airbnb. In fact, every Airbnb that I went to when I came back, I specifically asked the owners, would they be open to a year lease? Because again, guys, my CEF meeting is next month and I had to find a year lease before going to that meeting. So that is really why I wanted to jump on here and have you all understand the different costs that may be associated with that. Because if you're not ready, I just finished doing my visa and having to show 6 months. And then when you get here, now you have to show a year. So if you aren't prepared for that, which I didn't know, some of this stuff, I'm like, I come on here because I just want, everyone to kind of just know and how to move and plan. because again, y'all watching me go through this process, and I just felt like people needed to kind of know that part. So yes, so your utility deposits, temporary stay. Okay, so this is kind of going back into what I was saying: the temporary stay accommodations versus the residency. Those are two completely separate things. And for those of you who are just joining us, when I came here, I was on a tourist visa, and now I have a residency visa. That residency visa expires in 4 months. Okay, so in 4 months, you have to be on the ground of Portugal and get your life together. If you don't, you got to go. Like you can't be here. So I don't feel like that was something that was completely explained. And even when I did my visa in the States, when I did my visa in the States, I basically got a, what am I saying? I got a, appointment for the SEF office. Okay. And if you've seen the interview that me and Jamila did she applied to live here in Portugal, and she still doesn't have her SEF. And I think she may apply for that like a year ago. I got mine when I applied in the States. So what I'm worried is if I don't have everything that's needed, I'm going to get pushed out to another appointment that can be who knows when, particularly if, COVID gets crazy and stuff shuts back down. So honestly, I do have some anxiousness about that, because from my various friends who live in different countries, sometimes they'll shut the whole meeting down if your document isn't right or you got the wrong document. So I've heard so many horror stories that me having every single thing I need to go to this one particular meeting is so critical to me. So this is also what you have to consider. It's going to be in Portuguese. I don't know what I'm saying. I haven't learned the language yet. So I have to find someone, hopefully that they allow it, to go with me to the meeting, just so I'm clear as to what I need and what needs to happen. When they gave me the appointment in the States, it was literally just like 3 lines saying, this is the address, this is the date. Nothing else said what I needed to turn in or what did I need to bring with me. Now that I'm on the ground, from what I'm hearing, is you basically create the same stuff you had when you did the initial residency visa. It's just, it has to be updated. So you show the contract of your company, you show the updated bank statements to show that you still can financially be here. You show that you're using a Portuguese bank account. So that's an important thing, guys, which I think is on the slide somewhere. Bank requirements. So now that you're here and you've been here for a while, you need to show that you are really getting into the Portuguese system, and that does require a bank statement, a bank. I didn't know that. Now I know that now. So if you are trying to get a residency visa, you cannot, far as I know, if someone has a residency visa and they didn't get a bank account and they have their residency card, type in the comments if you've been successful doing that. But from everything that people have been telling me, I need to have a Portuguese bank account, which I established that before I actually left. A Portuguese bank account that shows the income that you said that you were remotely working with going into said Portuguese bank account. That is what I was told I need to show in order to be okay with SEF. Okay. Now, again, I haven't had my SEF meeting. This is just the information that I was told. It's hearsay. Once my SEF meeting happens, I will kind of further include you on that. But you need to have a Portuguese bank account, and that bank account needs to, so that's another cost you need to consider. So there's various banks you can choose from. I went with Santander. That's just what I went with. You can go whatever bank you want to. I could care less. We don't know each other. I went with that bank. And so there's going to be costs associated with you opening an account. Most new accounts are going to want you to deposit anywhere from, 300 to 400 euros to open the account. So consider that. I can't remember how much. I think I may have paid 300 euros to open the account in Santander, but you need to check with that. If you want to know how to open a bank account, there's a video on the channel that goes over that. So let me just check in with you guys real quick. Portuguese. Answer right now. So if you're holding a U.S. passport like myself, you'll have to wait. You only have to wait if you don't do a residency visa. I have a U.S. passport and I applied for that and I was able to get in. And you need a COVID test. That's also one of the costs that you need to consider. So Me coming back to Portugal, I had to have, I think, a 48-hour COVID test. That COVID test, at least in Washington, D.C., is not cheap. It's, I think, $250, $300 to get a COVID test within that time frame. So again, another cost you need to consider. Now, granted, that's the pandemic cost. If you're not looking at this applying during the pandemic, you may not have to do that. But again, that is a cost you might need to consider. Can you list some areas outside of city center for us to research? I cannot, because I don't know them. I just found about the city that I'm in right now, which is Caxias. I hope I'm saying that right. I can't tell you the areas out of city center because I haven't been out of city center most of my time in Portugal. So just Google Portugal, Lisbon in a map, and it'll give you cities there. But I can't tell you anything about the cities because, again, most of my time in Portugal has been in city center. So I can't offer too much information there. So sorry about that. Tourists are not allowed from the U.S. However, if you're granted a visa, that is accurate. You don't want to, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't, okay, you got them. I did get right. I got foreigner rates on that, Sandra. You're absolutely correct. Okay, who was that? Okay, so let me go back to what I have because I went up too far. Let's see. Private health insurance. Okay, so I did that today, guys. I got private health insurance today. And I don't know why. Let me tell you something. I got private health insurance. Of course, the contract's in Portuguese. I don't know what to say. So I need somebody to go through it with me, and that will happen. You need private health insurance. That is a cost. You need private health insurance in order to go before you go to your SEF meeting. You have to show that you had established private health insurance here, which is, I did that today. I got it through my bank. What? I didn't know that was a thing, right? So when I went back to my bank to kind of understand how my bank card worked and how to do whatever, they asked me, did I want health insurance? And again, coming from the States, I didn't understand why the bank was trying to give me health insurance because, in the States, health insurance is ridiculous. So I didn't understand. And I was like, So I went and I called Jamila. I was like, so do banks give you health insurance? And so you have to be reminded that health insurance is not attached to private health insurance because, of course, the people who, citizens here get, free health insurance. And you have to pay for private health insurance as a foreigner. Cool. So fun fact, there's usually like 3 categories. There is like basic, middle, and high end. I, at this moment, don't know what those different mean. And I'll try to figure that out and help you guys through that. But right now, I don't know what they mean. So I just went with the lowest one because I don't know. But apparently, even if you needed to upgrade, which is even what my banker told me today, you can just upgrade later. So if you feel like, okay, maybe you're going to have a series of things going on and you want to increase your health insurance, you can literally just go in there and increase it or call a number and increase it like the next day. So there's no like enrollment period and stuff like if you're from the States that how that whole setup thing. So if something happened, you can go ahead and increase your health insurance and increase your premium. So initially when I went to the bank, the lowest one was 30 euros. And then one was like 60 euros. And I can't remember what the other. Today, there's some type of promotion. I don't really know what I was doing. Can I be honest with y'all? I don't know what I was doing. I just know I need health insurance, so that's what I did. And we'll see later so my health insurance was it's a little under 8 euros. What? It's 8 euros. And I don't understand. But all of the premiums, the 3 premiums that I saw like a week ago, those were all cheaper. And I don't know why, but yes. So health insurance, private health insurance is 8 euros. And if I want to increase it, I think the increase one, I don't know. I got it written down. I'll try to do a video specifically on that. Again, we'll have to get somebody on here to help us because I don't know how to read what the hell I just signed up for, but I just got whatever I needed to be legal for SEF. So again, that is an added price because if you remember, if you did your visa, you had to show you had health insurance, travel health insurance. And so I paid for travel health insurance before. And honestly, the company was probably, when I read the reviews, they weren't even good, but I knew I was going to come here and get my own health insurance from Portugal. So I didn't stress it. I just knew that was a cost that is just cost of doing business if you're doing a visa. So there's these costs associated with all these documents you will have to get for your visa. So you just really need to consider that. And that's kind of why I popped on here and wanted to talk to y'all. Okay. Why is air conditioning so rare in Portugal? I don't know how you want me to answer that. I don't know. Is it really that cool? Even in the summer, I live in Florida. I can't imagine. Portugal is a whole country. I mean, the guy told me yesterday that it snows on certain parts. What? So I don't know. My apartment does not have air conditioning. This apartment I'm in right now does not have air conditioning. Now, granted, I have a massive window. There is a breeze a lot. But I'm in like the end of the summer. So the beginning of next summer, is it going to be crazy? I have no idea. So I'll keep you posted on that. But a lot of the places I have may not have air conditioning. It is a pretty breezy situation. I'm right by the water. So I don't know, but I have no idea why. I couldn't answer that for you. All right, let's see. Heat is so prevalent in Portugal. Shake and hang. I've seen that. But okay. No, it's Caxias. So it's Caxias. I know how to spell it. I just don't know if I'm saying it correctly. I'm probably not. Google it, honey. So if you want to know what anything means in euros, just Google it. Currency changes daily. So USD in my apartment is 750 euros. I don't know what it is. Just Google that for me because I don't know. Let's see what we got here. We're getting a D7 and found 2T house signature for 6 months. 30-day out, first last day security seems reasonable to me. Okay, congratulations, Nancy. Not sure. Translate bedroom. Okay, so our apartments that are found furnished. The apartment I am in, that's a good question. The apartment that I am right now is furnished because this is all this stuff. This ain't my stuff. Y'all know I'm not that. Nah, I didn't make the place a home. So this apartment is completely furnished for 750 euros. This was initially on Airbnb. Like I said earlier, how long have I been on here? Am I on here too long? Oh, okay, we good. I asked all the Airbnb people that I went to, except for one. I stayed in one Airbnb. No. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have flashbacks. Yeah. So I asked if they would consider a year lease, and they were open to it. Thank God. And it was so ironic how the whole situation worked out. I'll do a separate video on the apartment because I got to tell y'all that story. So here's the thing. Because of COVID, there is not as much tourism going on in Lisbon or Portugal right now. I am in a place that is a little bit further out from the city. So when people are looking to kind of be tourists here, they may not consider this area because they want to be right smack dab in the middle of everything. So they may consider kind of a different thing. But I would recommend, if you haven't watched my video on like apartments in Lisbon, I give a series of links that you can kind of check out, and also the comments from that video from people who live in Portugal was just extremely, extremely helpful. So definitely check out that video. But I basically asked Airbnb people if they would consider a year lease because of the tourism being down, and some of the properties have been sitting for months and will continue to sit for months. The one that I really liked, if you follow me on Instagram, there was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with that terrace. I wanted to live it so bad. And they had a third party that spoke for the owner. So it was really difficult for me to speak directly to the owner for a year lease. But honey, I loved her so much. But I'm glad I'm here because the cost is substantially lower, and just we don't know what's going to happen with this economy globally. We're definitely going to experience a global recession, and I like that this is just, a small, cute apartment for me. Cost I'm cool with. So yeah, so the apartment is furnished. That was a long way to tell you the department was furnished, right? That was so much. I apologize. Is there still movement against Airbnbs in Lisbon? I saw that a flyer that Lisbon is asking tourists not to use them because it's driving up rents. I don't know. I I haven't heard anybody talk about it, but it is driving up the price. So I'm not all the way for sure completely, but I knew based on some of the apartments I was seeing on said websites, it was cheaper for me to get an Airbnb for the month than it was for me to go to some of those apartments and have it furnished. So when I first came back and landed, I was renting Airbnbs about either 2 weeks to a month because it was cheaper. There were a lot of deals because people just weren't, renting some of the Airbnbs. So people were really considering that. Okay. What do you do for the first 6 months accommodations? Hey there. So what do you do for the first 6 months accommodations when you able to cancel them? So again, that's the cost. And so that's what I wanted people to kind of understand. So I was able to cancel some I got a credit. I didn't get the money back. So this is why I'm saying that this is a cost that you need to be prepared for. And guys, if you want to move and it's a pandemic, there's a whole bunch of things that's just going to happen. And so it happened to me. So when I was staying in a variety of different Airbnbs because I had credits, and some of them because I couldn't, get the money back. So yeah, that is money you end up wasting if you're not prepared for it. Listen. So that's really why I wanted to come on and jump on here, because I wanted people to kind of be prepared that may be a thing to happen about for the studio and direct. Okay, thank you for sharing this. We've considered moving to Portugal a few years. Okay, let's see. Your information has answered a few questions I have regarding the visa process. Oh, thank you so much, S. Davis. I appreciate you. Okay. Okay, yes, learning to speak Portuguese is key. My mom is Cape Verde. Yes. Okay, so we're going to be doing Portuguese classes, guys. Couple of things. If you have not signed up for the Moving Abroad Summit and you're about to move abroad, I do encourage that you sign up. So we have registration is free. And if for those people who are like ready to make the jump and you need people in those different countries to give you insight, our speakers will be there to talk to you. There is approximately 7 hours of content every day. So people are teaching about 7 hours a day for those 3 days. And I'm doing some stuff on entrepreneurship, but I'm also going to do step-by-step exactly what I did to get to Lisbon, Portugal. So I'll go through that. But we also are going to start Portuguese language classes. For those of you who did went to the live that we had with Sally, she is Portuguese. She lived in the States for a little bit, came back to Portugal when she was 11. She's going to be teaching our Portuguese classes. So if you're on my list, you'll get an email soon for a sign up for that, because that's important, especially if you want to get citizenship in Portugal. So yes, I agree. The language is important. It is not the easiest language. I don't care what nobody say. Portuguese is not an easy language. Okay. So Chuck, we will be doing Portuguese classes. We'll be doing them online. Sally will be the instructor, and we'll talk to you about that in a bit. Okay. So, oh, wait, let me go back. Am I forgetting anything? Private health insurance, we did that. Currency fluctuation, y'all heard me talk about that often. Listen, currency fluctuation is not a joke. So when you guys ask me what is stuff in USD versus euros, the reason why I say Google it, because currency changes. So 1 minute your rent may be one price 1 month, and if the currency changes the way that it has been changing lately, it's going to change again. So that's it's a real thing. So that's why I always tell, when it comes to currency, I tell you all to Google it. I'm not trying to be a jerk. Some of the stuff y'all ask me, you should just Google, but I'm not trying to be a jerk when it comes to currency, because it is a fluctuating thing. And it's not stagnant. Currency, when I first came to Portugal, it was $1.17. I don't know what it is today. It might be 118, 119. I have no clue. But it changes. And when you're doing small stuff, it's not a big deal. But if you're talking about heavy ticket items like rent or purchase or whatever, that's adding several hundreds of dollars to the situation. And you have to be prepared for that. So if you are retired and you have US money, listen, your with inflation and currency, your retirement is going to be affected, particularly if it is tied to the US stock market. That thing about to crash. So listen, just do your due diligence, folks. Okay, so here, just speaking. Which bank is that? I bank with Santander, but you can bank with whichever one you want. Blue Cross will work overseas. If you try to get U.S. health insurance for Portugal or any country you're going to, you're going to pay a ton of money. Now, here's the thing. If you are the type of person where you have to have, sorry, they are doing something outside my door. I don't know if you can hear it. Not my door, my window. If you have to have insurance, meaning you have to go back and forth to the U.S., because that was my situation initially. I had to keep health insurance in the U.S. And now that I don't have a reason to go back to the U.S., my health insurance is specifically Europe. Okay. So, if you try to use a U.S. company, far as I know, for any health related, they're going to get you, listen, you're going to be paying a lot of money. You would be better off probably just having two policies, one for the U.S. and one for the EU. Because, I mean, listen, just because I get my health insurance card in a bit. That's what the gentleman told me today. You're going to have to get a health insurance. Now, if you're getting a residency visa, you got to get private health insurance. Whatever insurance you got in the U.S. is not going to be relevant to anything going on in Portugal. So, yes, €8. Listen, I ain't understand it either. I just got it today. Once I get the documentation and someone who reads Portuguese sits down and explain to me what I just did, then I'll tell you what happened. Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. €8. No, it's not €8 a day. It's €8 a month. A month. Yes, the U.S. Listen, listen. Where do I sign up for that? Listen, the bank. Apparently, I got my health insurance from the bank. Okay. Yeah, it's a month. My health insurance is €8 a month. Now, again, there were 3 options, and I don't really know what I signed up for. I will tell you that when I learn more about it. But if you need to increase your health insurance, you can. But I don't really know what increasing your health insurance means. Like, do you pay less of a copay? Is there a copay? I thought there wasn't a copay. I'll have somebody who I can find to help me explain health insurance. Maybe I can have my banker do it. He was so cool. That's the other cool thing about here, guys, in other countries, is that your banker knows you. And then too, because I don't speak Portuguese, so there's only one guy who does. So he helps me a lot. But anything I need to do, I go to him and ask questions. And I just find that really cool. Problem is, I opened my bank account close to Estefania, Saldana, where I first lived, and now I don't live nowhere near there. So that's gonna be interesting. Okay, Germany doesn't have any A. Can you spell the town you're living in? No, so it's not Cascais. It is Caxias, right? So it's Caxias. That is where I live right now. Oh my God, it's crazy cheap. One of us from a beautiful country, amazing food. Yes, affordable health insurance. Did you pay? Did you have to pay a yearly premium for your travel insurance upfront? Did you lose that money when you're switching to private shows? I sure did. So again, guys, we're talking about the costs, the hidden costs for applying for your visa. That is one of them. So I applied for travel insurance when I was in the States because I needed that for my residency visa. When you are in Portugal, you still have to do the second part of your CEF meeting, which is you have to show private health insurance in this country. Because now you're saying you live in here and you're trying to be a resident. So you need to show the papers to look like that, to show that that's what you're doing. And so, yeah, so the private insurance I paid today, I pay it monthly. And so the banks have incentive to have connections with various health insurance because that money comes directly out of my bank account every month. The €8. It's really like €7 and some change. It's not even all the way 8. Is what? So yes, the private insurance that I paid for, it was just the cost of doing the visa, but I will not be using that insurance. In fact, I kind of heard that insurance wasn't good, but I needed it for the visa. So it was the cost of doing it. So that's really why I'm doing this, guys. I want y'all to know that some of this stuff I kind of knew, all right, I got to take an L. Other stuff I didn't, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get y'all to not make the mistakes I made. Okay, so yes, I did. Okay, so currency changes. Will your rent change also? Or are you locked into the price for a year? Okay, so that's a really good question. You are locked into, I'm locked into the 750 euros, right? But what that is in US money, that is what's going to change. People in Europe just want their 750 euros. What that's going to mean to you as a US citizen, if you are making US money, is what's going to change. You follow what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. So your price, your European price is going to be locked. But because the currency changes, it will change what the conversion is for your US money. Does that make sense? I hope y'all following me on that. I don't think I know any other way to explain that. I'm sorry. I hope it makes sense. Do you pay a fee for realtor assistance? Okay, do you pay a fee for realtor assistance to find a place, or was the fee covered by the owner? I didn't use a realtor, Jay. I don't know. Sometimes I think I did try to use a realtor before, and sometimes that is some of the prices that they'll give these ridiculous amounts of deposits, because one of those deposits they're going to end up giving it to the real estate agent. So let's say they want 4 months deposit, they're probably going to give one deposit to the real estate agent. Again, I did not use a real estate agent, so I don't all the way know about that. So there you go. Are the universities opening or operating online? Have no idea, hon. I am not in a university, but the kids are in school. They're in like physical school. They're not online. Hey, I know you spoke briefly about this in a previous video. However, could you explain the cost involved for hot water in an apartment? There is no cost involved for hot water in an apartment. No, it's no cost. I think what you may be referring to is, I like a lot of hot water. I like my water on dragon when I take showers, and certain places may have smaller water heaters, so you'll run out of hot water quicker than, let's say, if you had a tankless water heater. So I like apartments with tankless water heaters, but you're not paying more for hot water. The apartments that have tankless water heaters tend to be renovated, and they may be a little bit more pricier in cost and price because of that. I have a tankless water heater here, which I didn't know that when I got. When he showed me that, I was like, "Thank you, Jesus." So yeah, that's that. Okay, is 10K enough to start a move to Portugal? I don't know, hon. It depends on a lot of, I don't feel like I spent more than that to move here, right? I just want you to just have some backup money just in case something happens. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. It depends on what you're doing. If you're going as a retired person or someone who is a remote worker. So I'm a remote worker. If you're retired, I think you have to have a certain amount of savings shown for your visa. I don't know what that amount is, guys. I am not retired. So I'm not really sure, but I'm hoping that I'm giving you something to kind of come up with your own personal price, because you may be able to live further outside the city and get an apartment that's 400 euros. Now, I haven't found said apartment yet. If I find some, I'll let you know. And maybe that can drop your cost dramatically. When I was in city center, I was seeing stuff in the thousands of euros. This is the first apartment I saw that it was even, lower than 1,000 euros. So I feel like yes, but again, that's like a personal thing depending on like what you want, what you need. You know what I mean? So I hope that's semi-helpful. I'm sorry if I'm missing some of you guys. When I look at this, y'all, it moves so quickly. I work around for my job solution. I'll have to work second. Yes, Sandra. Super late. Oh, that's a really good question. Did I go over the call? Let me make sure I went over currency fluctuations. Okay, yes. All right, so let's just see. Okay. Do I have to work super late to keep up with you as clients? This is such a good question. Okay, so many of you know about the Moving Abroad Summit. And that summit is in Eastern Standard Time. So listen, if you are attending, definitely go register. If you're attending the summit, I'm going to look like the east side of hell because I'm going to be working on East Coast time and it's going to be late here. So I don't even know how that's going to work. This is going to be interesting. For my US clients, so the good thing, because we're a 5-hour difference here, the good thing is I wake up here between 5 and 8. And you can go run your errands, go have your life, go do your thing, what you need to do. And by the time I come back, I try to come back in the house maybe around 2 p.m. And then I can kind of deal with my East Coast client situation. And the market closed, well, I think it's 9 p.m. here. So 9 p.m. is still not crazy late for me. So if you're keeping like really real hours, like you're not working late or anything like that, you could totally, pull it off. It's not that bad. But in times when I got to do East Coast for long periods of time, like I will for the week of the summit, that's going to be interesting. So we'll see. So when I'm out here looking crazy, y'all, don't judge me next week. It is next week, y'all. If y'all haven't registered, go register for the summit. We're going to stop registration on the 18th, I think. Yes. And the reason for that, this is a live event. This is not recorded videos. Everybody, all your teachers, all your instructors are going to be on there live. So if you have questions, they're going to answer it live. You can jump on the camera with them. We're going to be networking. We're going to have a really good time. It's all live. And because it's live, we have to make sure that we are focused on a really good live experience. So we have to shut down the registration. So we're probably going to do that on the 18th, but I'll shoot y'all an email just to make sure. Okay. So, our most least 12 months. So good question, Carol. Fun fact. Apparently in Portugal, leases used to be like long, like 3 to 5 years or something like that. And there's some like thing that you had to stay 40% of that time. So as leases have become shorter, I think because of probably foreigners or things like that, and we've been used to year leases, that their year leases are starting, 12-month leases are starting to kind of be slightly popular. And but I think the rule or law or whatever that you only have to stay 40% still applies even in a 12-month lease. So that means you kind of only have to stay, what did the guy tell me? Like 3 months, but don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. And I'll try to get some more information on that because that's hearsay and I'm kind of making that up. Thomas, that's funny. Yeah. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate you. Appreciate that. I've missed some. Could you please share the slides? Just hit rewind, hon. I don't know how to share them with you because I don't know how to email them to you, but it's a video, guys. Sometimes y'all ask me what someone said and I said it and you can just rewind it. Love hearts. Like, let's be real about that. Could you please share the slides? Guys, these slides were basic and ugly. Don't make me put that out there. Just rewind and write some notes. Okay, difference between Brazilian and yeah. Okay, I think, are we done with the questions? Did you need a letter of recommendation for the visa residency? Some people have mentioned that in their D7. Who would you get the recommendation from? Who would I ask? Did you need a letter of recommendation for the visa or residency application? Some people have mentioned that. Again, guys, I did my visa in Washington, D.C. If someone else did their visa in another country, city, whatever, I wouldn't know what they did, but I didn't have to do that. I don't even know who I would go to get a letter of recommendation. Who's recommending you? And I'm curious about that. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate you, hon. You're increasing the coverage some policies plans have. Okay. Who's the so Bella? You are increasing the coverage some policy plans have. Can you tell me more about that? Because I don't know what I just did or signed up for. You're having the courage. Oh, thank you, Renee. I appreciate you. International riders that will cover you outside this thing. Oh, okay. Yes, Bella. Bella, can I give you a link so you can come on camera with me? More expensive, but if you travel outside a lot, that might be worth it. Bella, come in the comments and see if I can bring you on camera. How long we been on here? Oh shoot, we've been on here for an hour. Y'all gonna see with me that long? Is there a limited amount of money you need to have in the bank? For what specifically? Eve. Are you talking about to show Seth when you get here? Thank you for your insight. You are most welcome. Girl, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just out here winging it, but I appreciate you. If you remember correctly, I think of Lisbon Diary folks do a vlog piece, more detail on the differences of travel insurance from American. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. If you have bank health insurance, what are you doing? What? If you are not using the bank health insurance, what are you doing for healthcare? I don't understand this question. I got my insurance from the bank. The bank is not supplying my health insurance. I don't know if that's what you're asking me. I just got it from the bank. Again, in Portugal, guys, or your insurance is not tied to a employment like it is in the States. So you can get health insurance a variety of different ways. My bank just made it easy to say while I was there, you want some health insurance? And I said yes. Okay. All right, let's see. It's like a love her. Tell them Hollywood Code. How to pronounce cash guys in English. Kush guys? No, that's Kush guys. In America, Portugal, FB group. So you mentioned needing one. Yeah, I don't know, hon. I didn't need a recommendation. Federal retirement with health insurance. I need to ask what is covered for overseas illness and coverage. May I ask a letter of recommendation? May ask, but I heard it depends. Okay, so this is helpful. Thanks, Jay. He said the SF office may ask for a letter of recommendation, but I heard it depends on the reviewer. It's not consistent, so I recommend you do it to avoid. Who is giving you this letter of recommendation? Who is recommending you? Is it who knows you to recommend you? That's what I need to understand. Jay, can you give us insight on that? So yeah, this is the other thing you guys have to understand, folks. Whether it's Portugal or any other country, things will change depending on who you're talking to. And if you're from the US, that may drive you crazy because you want to, try to be as efficient as possible and bring what you need. And then sometimes a random thing will pop up and you're like, how we get here? So expect that in your hidden cost. Has to be from a Portuguese citizen. Okay, thank you. From what I've seen, the letter of recommendation has to be from a Portuguese citizen. Some people have used their lawyer, realtor, landlord. You're the best. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, that's who's going to recommend you. Okay, so I will work on doing one of those just in case. Thank you. Our family of 6 is planning to move to Lisbon. Okay, which area is family friendly? Also rates of rent for... Sweetheart, John, I have a video on how to look for apartments in Lisbon. Check that out. I can only tell you what I have done. I cannot tell you what you need to do for your family. I'm not experienced that. I did not come here with a family. I don't have any kids. I have no idea, but there is a video I have on the channel that talks about how you yourself can look at the links and see how much it'll cost for apartment based on the neighborhood that you want. Okay. So please check that out, guys. But I can't give you advice on stuff I haven't done. I'm just on here telling y'all what I've done. And if anything else, just like anything, you want to use a whole bunch of sources. I should not be your only source because y'all know I'm winging this. I don't know what I'm doing. Freelance visa, independent worker is yes. I did the remote working visa. That is correct, John. Yes. Hi. Okay. Wait, guys. I'm sorry. This thing goes all over the place. Are you self-employed? Do you work for employer? Thomas, I am self-employed. I have a company. I have a couple companies. I thought you said you weren't using insurance you got from the bank. I thought you said you weren't using the insurance you got from the bank. I don't know where you got that from. I literally just got the bank. I got the insurance today. I bought it from the bank. It's not bank insurance, y'all, but I got the insurance from the bank. The bank got me the insurance. So which bank do you recommend? I only have experience with one. I have Santander, but depending on your situation, you want to do a research on what bank works for you. I can't really answer that. Okay, thank you, Linda. Well, Linda, come talk to me. Are you here? Because you up here dropping jewels. Caixas is different from placing which is where similar. Oh, okay. I think the president of Portugal lives in Cascais, which is relatively expensive. So I think he does live in Cascais. Can you tell me much more about Caxias. I always gotta look up in the sky when I say it because I'm probably not saying it right. A minimum amount to open a bank account in Portugal. Eve, that's going to depend on what bank you open, just like it depends on what bank you open in the United States, folks. Okay, so it's going to fluctuate. So I'm with Santander. I don't know about the other banks. I think I needed 300 euros, but some may not require that much. Banks are different in Portugal the same way they are different in other countries. So you must research that. The letter recommendation, people have used their lawyer. Okay, yeah, we did that. Did I go back again? Include, that's why I think if someone who went through the NY visa office. Okay, yeah, guys, the New York visa, I got nothing on it. I know some of you guys are from San Fran and their office is closed. Maybe it opened up now. I'm sorry. I just have info on the DC office and what I did. Does the average Portuguese speak English fluently? Okay, Thomas, does the average Portuguese speak English fluently, and our government and bank documents? They are absolutely not in English. So Thomas, I don't know if you just popped on, but that's why I don't know what my health insurance covers, because I couldn't read it. And I have to sit down with someone to know what I signed up for. I just know it's recommended, it's necessary for my NIF. Even though, so people in Portugal tell me that most people speak English. It usually is something and it's taught in school. So here's the thing: the further you are out from Lisbon City, regardless of what people tell me, because people say, no, everyone speaks English. Listen, I know what I experienced personally, and no. So the further I've gotten, it has been more difficult. But I feel like it's like with any language, even you learn it, but you're not using it that much, you are going to forget the language and you may be a little bit insecure about using it. So it could be possible that some of the people that I've met know some English, but they haven't spoken, so they feel insecure about it, so they don't speak it, or what have you. But you got to understand, you go into somebody else's country, so you need to learn their language. I just haven't learned it yet. So I struggle and I'm highly insecure with it. None of your documents are going to be in English. You are in Portugal, your documents are going to be in Portuguese. So if you look at the video I did to talk about tools, tech tools for moving abroad, the Google Translate allows you to upload documents to them so you can kind of understand what stuff is saying, particularly as it relates to lease and that type of thing. But none of your government or documents are going to be in English. And that is why I stress to you guys. So again, guys, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I am a realist. So if some of the things you all have a hard time figuring out now and you haven't left the States, it's going to be a massive challenge when you come to Portugal, because nothing's going to be in English. If you don't know anyone, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. And I want to get you guys prepared for said challenge now before you leave, versus coming here and just not knowing what's happening. So nothing is going to be in English, but that's kind of, when people move to America and they got a different stuff is not written in their native tongue and they just have to figure it out. So that's what we have to do. You know what I mean? So, okay. Does any average Portuguese speak English? Okay. Yes, our rich family, or was it our rich journey? They are a family that lives in Portugal. I'm not sure what part of Portugal they live in. So yes, check with them. They have a family. I do not have a family, so I can't tell you anything what you're supposed to do with kids and that type of thing. So we will be doing Portuguese classes, guys. If you're already on my list, I'll send you an email about that. How do you prove your income if you have your own business? You write a contract for your business. Your business will write you a contract and they'll say this is the amount that you pay. They'll be paying you per month. Also, if you will show, your bank statement is going to show money coming in from said business. Okay. They do. Our rich family has some good stuff. Okay. All right. Thank you for the clarification. Sure thing, Thomas. Okay. Okay. Silver Coast. Okay. That's where they live. Okay. One good thing about the U.S. federal local transit. Yeah, sometimes. Okay. I see the opportunity for bilingual Portuguese speakers translating documents. Yes. I mean, they have some. They have people who translate. I don't know them yet. I need to find them. Hey Jay, thank you. Oh, the sessions are really helpful. Looking forward to the language classes. Jay, I hope you're on on my list. If you're on my list, I'll send you an email. Would love to see you. We're going to be doing it on Zoom, so I get to see you guys' faces because I'm trying to learn the language too. I get to see you guys' faces while we're learning Portuguese together. So give me after the summit because I can't do nothing until the summit's gone. Okay, I gotta get out of here. I gotta run to the grocery store real quick. Okay, I see the opportunity. But yes, check out. Okay, I think that's it. Did I finish the presentation? I hope I wasn't all over the place, guys. When I do lives, you don't get the joy of me editing, making it make more sense. So you just catch me up on here live and good luck. But I just wanted to come on here and let me see, did I do all this stuff? Okay, again, if you haven't registered for the summit, be sure to do that. I will be spending a whole hour going step by step on what I did for the process of the visa. So any detailed questions, I know some of you really feel like you need to be handheld. And if that's what you need to do, we're going to do it that moment. And we'll get on camera and we'll talk and we'll chat. Again, this is a live event, guys. It is not, it will be recorded, but it's recorded for the people who are paying because it's over 7 hours of content every day and I have to pay for it. So of course, people who want the recording, you won't have to pay for it too. But for the general sessions, guys, the general sessions, we're going to have those. If you've already registered, we'll send you the link of where the general session is going to be so you can watch that. Those are going to have our panelists from a variety of different countries and they're going to tell you their experience. You can ask them questions in real time like we're doing now, but you can bring your camera on and the mic. And then there's also a networking. We're having a networking hour. So we get to like speed network and say, hey, and do all that cool stuff. So I'm really excited about that. So again, movingabroadsummit.com, go register for that. And we're like a week away. Like that's crazy. So again, I'm gonna be looking ridiculous and stressed out. So don't mind me. Hit or miss. Portuguese currently in Portuguese. Oh, basically. Wait, what happened? Charge fees are basically a scam. 3 different professionals. Portugal currently in the U.S. and have had 3 different professionals charge fees and basically scammed. Oh no, I'm so sorry. That's U.S. I'm not surprised. So, oh wait, I'm sorry. Wait, some of y'all asked me a question. Y'all emailed your questions into me. Oh my gosh, I forgot all about y'all. I was supposed to answer y'all first. I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? Okay, so Terry, asked me about shipping possessions to Portugal from the UK. Honey, I don't know. Like, first, I didn't ship my stuff from the US. I just got the stuff that could fit in suitcases. In my opinion, it's a lot cheaper to just pay the extra baggage fees for this extra suitcases than it is to try to ship it. Now, Portugal, for some odd reason, if you were trying to get something from the US to Portugal, like good luck. If it exceeds $20 in value, listen, just don't do it. If anyone is in Portugal and they have any recommendations in regards to shipping things from the UK to Portugal, if you can give some insight in the comments. I personally have none because I didn't ship anything. It was just too much. So all right, other question. So I have Terry. Sorry, I was supposed to answer your question at the beginning. My bad. Who? Okay, Sandra, you asked about an app for the website. So yeah, Sandra, if you look at the find an apartment in Portugal, all the links I use there. But again, this was an Airbnb and I found this on Airbnb and I just asked, would they be open to a year lease? And so things are pretty quiet here right now. And in the winter, it's going to be extremely quiet. So you might be able to find some really good deals. I felt like this was a deal. I'm gonna do a whole apartment on a whole video on the apartment because I have this water view that is just so peaceful and nice. And I want to show y'all the apartment. This is just a little small 1-bedroom and it has a tankless water heater. So yeah, I think that is it. And I gotta run to the store before it closes. Is there, I think there's one call. Okay. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for hanging with me. And I hope this was helpful. I know it felt like it was kind of all over the place, but hopefully you can check out some of the stuff I said and consider that in regards to your hidden prices and just things to consider. Sorry, my hair is crazy. I'm about to wash it today. I really can't wait to do the summit so I can see y'all faces and talk because I kind of be feeling like sometimes I'm talking to myself. Only the bank one is the only supplemental to what they already have. For example, okay, hold on, Tia. Let's bring you on real quick. Regarding the insurance, I think people are saying that the bank one is only supplemental to what you already have. For example, the supplemental cover outside of Portugal. No, my insurance is full insurance, so I don't really know. But de nada. Yeah, so again, I'll go over the health insurance I have and maybe some health insurance people have. What they told me, the reason why mine was cheaper is because there was a promotion going on this month. So initially when I went there, the price for the health insurance was 30 euros, which is typical. Most of the people that I know who are expats are paying about 30 euros for the basic one. I don't remember what the other two ones are. And then you can increase that whenever you want. So give me some time to actually get my insurance card and get someone to help me read this contract. And then I'll try to do one on the health insurance. Okay. All right, folks, it's been real. I'm out of here. I appreciate you.